Hello everyone, welcome to the Crypto Intel channel. Today we'll find out which could grow the most by 2028. Before we start the video, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and click the bell icon so you can always stay up to date on what's happening in the market. It takes you literally a second, but for me it's motivation to improve the quality and level of the videos on the channel. We have a lot to discuss, so let's get started right away. A $1,000 investment can produce very different results depending on where it is placed. That reality becomes even more interesting when comparing XRP, HBAR, and CAS today. Each project occupies a different position in the crypto market. XRP already commands a market capitalization above $71 billion and remains one of the largest digital assets in existence. HBAR sits much lower at roughly $3.5 billion and continues pursuing enterprise adoption. Kaspa remains the smallest of the three at just over $826 million, despite attracting attention through its blockDAG architecture and upcoming ecosystem expansion. Those numbers matter because market capitalization often determines how much room an asset has to grow. A smaller project can sometimes deliver larger returns if adoption arrives at the right time. That does not automatically make Kaspa the best investment. XRP has stronger institutional connections. HBAR has built a reputation around enterprise infrastructure. Kaspa still needs to prove that its ecosystem can expand meaningfully over the next few years. The question is simple: which of these three assets could turn $1,000 into the largest portfolio by 2028? Market capitalization provides an important starting point when comparing potential upside. A move from $826 million to $8 billion would generate roughly a 10 times return for Kaspa. XRP would need hundreds of billions in additional value to achieve a similar percentage gain. That does not mean XRP cannot perform well. It simply means the path toward massive returns becomes more difficult as an asset grows larger. Historical performance also reveals an interesting pattern. HBAR and Kaspa currently trade much further below their all-time highs than XRP. That leaves more room for recovery if market conditions improve over the next few years. XRP offers the strongest institutional foundation through 2028. XRP enters the race with advantages that few cryptocurrencies can match. Regulatory clarity has improved substantially. ETF products have introduced another source of demand. Ripple continues expanding RLUSD and cross-border settlement initiatives. Those developments give XTP one of the strongest utility narratives among large-cap cryptocurrencies. Its tokenomics also remain relatively predictable. XRP has a fixed maximum supply of 100 billion coins. Monthly escrow releases continue through Ripple's structured distribution model, and small amounts of XRP are permanently burned through transaction fees. The biggest challenge is valuation. A project already worth more than $70 billion needs enormous capital inflows to produce dramatic percentage gains. XRP, therefore, appears to offer the lowest risk profile of the three assets, though it may also provide the lowest upside. HBAR could benefit from enterprise adoption and real-world asset growth. HBAR occupies an interesting middle ground. Hedera has spent years positioning itself as an enterprise-focused network. Real-world asset tokenization, corporate blockchain infrastructure, and institutional partnerships remain central themes within its ecosystem. Another factor deserves attention. HBAR's market capitalization remains small compared to XRP. That creates more room for growth if enterprise adoption accelerates during the next few years. The main concern involves fee economics. Hedera's transaction costs are pegged to the US dollar. This creates predictable costs for businesses but limits some of the direct demand pressure that can exist in other blockchain ecosystems. HBAR therefore sits between XRP and Kaspa in both risk and reward potential. Kaspa's scarcity model could create the largest upside scenario. Kaspa has a very different investment case. More than 90% of its total supply has already been mined. Its emission schedule continues reducing new supply each month, and the network could reach a point where roughly 95% of all KAS is already circulating by late 2026 or 2027. That scarcity model stands out in today's market. The upcoming Takata expansion could also become an important catalyst. Smart contract functionality, KRC-20 assets, and broader ecosystem development may help increase network utility if adoption follows. The risk is straightforward. Kaspa still needs developers, applications, and users to embrace those new capabilities. Without that adoption, technology alone may not be enough to support major price appreciation. Even so, its small market capitalization gives it the clearest path toward outsized returns. How high XRP, HBAR, and Kaspa could go by 2028. To get another perspective on the road to 2028, we asked ChatGPT to evaluate XRP, HBAR, and Kaspa based on their current market capitalizations, tokenomics, historical performance, and the major catalysts expected over the next 2 years. ChatGPT viewed XRP as the most mature asset in the group. Regulatory clarity, ETF growth, RLUSD expansion, and Ripple's continued focus on cross-border payments could support higher prices over time. The model noted that XRP's biggest challenge is its size. With a market capitalization already above $71 billion, future gains require substantially more capital than smaller competitors. HBAR received a more optimistic outlook from a percentage growth perspective. ChatGPT pointed to Hedera's enterprise focus, governing council model, and growing role in real-world asset tokenization as key strengths. Since HBAR's market capitalization remains a fraction of XRP's, the asset has more room to appreciate if institutional adoption continues expanding through 2028. Kaspa generated the most bullish projections. ChatGPT identified 3 factors behind that view: Kaspa's relatively small market capitalization, its rapidly declining issuance schedule, and ecosystem upgrades that could broaden network utility. The model noted that Kaspa still carries the highest execution risk because ecosystem growth is not guaranteed. Even so, its smaller valuation gives it the greatest potential for outsized returns if adoption accelerates. Based on those factors, ChatGPT produced the following price ranges for 2028. This framework places XRP as the lower risk option, HBAR as the middle ground choice, and Kaspa as the asset with the highest upside potential heading toward 2028. What a $1,000 investment could be worth by 2028. Those price targets translate into very different portfolio outcomes. XRP could still deliver strong returns if institutional adoption continues growing, though its larger valuation limits the possibility of extreme gains. HBAR offers a balance between maturity and upside potential. Kaspa remains the highest risk option, but its smaller market capitalization means even modest adoption could have a much larger impact on price. Based purely on upside potential, Kaspa appears to have the strongest case heading toward 2028. HBAR follows as a middle ground choice with meaningful growth potential, and XRP remains the most established option with the strongest institutional foundation. Your plans, hopes, and expectations are for it. The best and most engaging comment will be featured in the next video. Just a reminder, friends, informational and news videos are posted on the channel every day, so you won't get bored here. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you're always up to date on all the latest news. And if you liked this video, please support me with a like. Your like is my motivation. Thanks to everyone for watching, and see you next time.